Okay, Algebra 1, we are moving on to section 2.4. So combining what you already know, but we are going to be presented with variables on both sides of our equation. So some factors that tend to trick us when we're dealing with this is that sometimes we are combining things and simplifying on each side of the equation, and other times we need to move them. So one thing that I really encourage students to do is to look at each side of the equation. Is there anything you can simplify? Nope. Is there anything you can simplify? Nope. So in that case, we need to get all of the variables to one side and all the numbers to the other. A lot of times I do this thing called weakest link. So whoever's weaker, whoever's smaller, I move. But there's some exceptions, like this first problem. I need to move the 4K to the other side, and the reason I do is because the 7K is already over there all by himself. So I am going to subtract 4K from each side. You move the variable term just like you would a regular number. You're going to be adding or subtracting them because you want to move the entire term. You don't want to split the 4 and the K up right now. So they cancel. 7K minus 4K, just like normal, would give us 3K. Bring down what you have left, which is just a positive 15. And you divide both sides by 3. To test the answer, you can put it back into the original equation. 7 times 5 equals 4 times 5 plus 15. 7 times 5 is 35. 4 times 5 is 20. 20 plus 15 is 35. So you can use that same method to check. Okay, next problem. Do I have anything I can simplify on this side? No. Do I have anything I can simplify on that side? No. So the reason why I look at the variables, and you're always going to move the variables first, is because you want to try to avoid negatives. So I'm going to move my weaker variable, the one with less. So 3 is smaller than 5, so I'm going to subtract it. If you move the 5x, you'd end up with a negative 2x. And we just tend to make more mistakes when we have negatives. So not that you couldn't do it, but we just try to avoid errors. Then I add 2 to both sides, and this is just like your two-step equations. Divide by 2, divide by 2, x equals 3. Okay. Anything you can simplify on that side? Nope. 4b and 2 cannot be added. Anything on this side? Nope. But I have to move the 4b to this side because the 3b is already over here. So I subtract it. Now you're going to see how 4b was larger and I ended up with a negative 1b. Then you have to remember to divide by a negative. Negative 1 equals b. So it just gives you a little chance to make a mistake, even though we don't want to. Okay, so let's just recap. So the first thing that we're going to do is simplify each side of the equation. Then the second side is, I'm going to say move variables together. And I'm going to say weakest link if possible. Okay, and then the third step is to get the variable alone. Okay, so these steps still work with these problems. So it says simplify each side before solving. So on this particular one, before I solve, I need to distribute. So this would be 2y plus 12 equals, there's nothing to simplify on the other side. Then you treat it just like we had done before. You move the 2y over, move the 2y over. I get 12 equals 1y. Divide by 1, divide by 1. 12 equals y. Next problem, nothing I can do on this side, but on the other side, you're going to distribute the 3. So 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 2k, or negative 2k, is 6k. So now I have 2k minus 5. Okay, so who's weaker, negative 6 or positive 2? Well, it's the negative 6, so I'm going to add the 6k. So I get 8k minus 5 equals 3. And I know I didn't give you a ton of room here, so you've got I've got 8k equals 8. Divide both sides by 8. We get k equals 1. Okay, so they just get a little bit more complicated. So for example, in this one, we have a negative 5b and a positive 2b. So I get 3 minus 3b equals. And then on this side, I have to distribute. Please don't subtract first. So this gives us negative 2 minus 2. This is a negative 2 times 1. Negative 2 times negative b turns to a positive 2b. Okay, I'm not done on that side. Oops, I put 2 equal signs. I can still take negative 2, negative 2 minus 2. So that would give us a negative 4 plus 2b. There, I have that whole side simplified now. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, weaker link, positive or negative 3b or positive 2b. It's a negative, so that's who I'm going to move. And by doing that, it goes positive. So 3 equals negative 4 plus 5b. Then I'm going to get b by itself. I add the 4 to the other side. And I'm going to have to bring this up here. So I get 7 equals 5b. Last step, divide both sides by a 5. I get 7/5 equals b. And I just leave it like that. I could write 1 2/5 equals b as well. Either way. Okay. Next one, each side of the expression, 1/2 b comes from the first thing, 1/2 times 6, so I'm just distributing both of this. 1/2 times 6 is 3. The other side does not need any distributing. So, weaker link, do this, weaker link, subtract 1/2 b from both sides. 3 equals, and I get 2/2 b minus 1. So then I add 1 to both sides. I get 4 equals, 2 over 2 is actually just 1. Divide both sides by 1. 4 equals b. Okay, doing good. I think I'm going to pause there and we're going to do a part 2 video. So I want you guys to practice these solving equations with variables on both sides, and then the next part will be the infinitely more solutions or no solutions.